measures in place, to ensure things goes well, across the country, the effect of the economy as well for today. In the studio to discuss this, I've been joined by the Minister of Information and Communications, Mohammed Raman Swari. Welcome to the show, Mr. Minister.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be here.
You're always welcome. And I also have with me the Minister of Trade and Industry, Dr. Edward Ingasandi. Mr. Minister, welcome.
Thank you very much, Remy.
All right. I'm going to start with you, Minister of Information. What does the government make up of the alleged protest, by some Sierra Leoneans? Would they think that, what they believe about what is going on in the country?
Government believes that this was totally unwarranted, totally uncalled for, and absolutely not necessary at this point in time, when this country is trying to shake off the effects of COVID-19 and at the same time managing through extremely difficult times imposed as a result of the Russia-Ukraine crisis. So this was completely uncalled for, completely unwarranted, and unnecessary. We are talking about an economy where majority of the people barely survive by the day. So this disruption today will rob many families of an opportunity of something to eat. Our heart goes out to those families who have been hoodwinked, who have been misled into staying home instead of coming out onto the streets to do their normal businesses. Remember, before now, we did several engagements. Opinion leaders here, opinion leaders were engaged both on traditional media, on the new media. The police issued out a statement which the Ministry of Information associates with, assuring the public that there will be peace and security, enough security, and encourage everybody to go about their normal chores. So this was unfortunate. It's not only going to cost those families who heeded that call from very anonymous sources. The police have rightly described that source as faceless, very faceless and anonymous source. I mean, when you want to, if it's a well-meaning civic action, you have to have credible faces to it. Those faces, if they believe in the cause, should not shy away from coming to sit down with the appropriate security apparatus to discuss the rationale, number one, to discuss what logistics the police may require to police their demonstrations and to ensure that it does not spiral out of control. These are the kind of things, I mean, the law itself says, yes, you may do this, it's your right, but the reason you sit with the police are for these reasons. And anything contrary to that is against the law. So this was not done. And it's going to cost the country quite a fortune as well. Government relies on those taxes to be able to provide essential services for citizens. Citizens want more hospitals, want more decent and enabling learning environment for our children, right? We want to be able to provide good healthcare, competitive healthcare services for our citizens. So it is from all of these sources that government gets money. So when you undermine sources like this, then you are undermining government, and by extension, you are undoing yourself. Here is a government whose president is literally, won the hearts and minds of the private sector around the world to invest in Sierra Leone, right? Here is a man who has been able to attract much needed tourism into our country. Tourist arrivals had increased before COVID struck. We had a lot of interest and some real progress with industrialization in many quarters. All this does is to undermine those gains. And when those gains are undermined, our dream to create more jobs for young people will also be undermined. Government's revenue generating ability will be compromised. So even with the best of intentions, government's hands will be tied to be able to deliver essential services. So we are saying, as Sierra Leoneans, irrespective of how profoundly opposed you may be to this government, we have been able to do real tangible things in the midst of extremely difficult global circumstances. We say all this government needs is an enabling environment to operate and to leverage the full potentials of this country for the benefits of all.
Is government looking at the concerns, and which most of these groups allegedly have been raised with regards to the economy, human rights issues? This they say they feel aggrieved about.
Which group?
Well, the individuals who wanted to protest
I don't know about
well.
individuals. I know.
I saw a press release, and title "Grassroots Women."
I have checked that with the Ministry of Economic Planning and Development. They are not a registered organization. Governments don't deal with unregistered organizations. It can only be for purposes of mischief, right? But whether anybody writes or not, we know there are global challenges. Even in the greatest democracies, in the most prosperous nations, there are challenges with unemployment, there are challenges with the economy, there are challenges with many things. So it's not peculiar to Sierra Leone alone. But we have not stood arms akimbo. We're not on fold behind our foot. Even during COVID, when other countries have been run short of basic essential necessities, this government, the Ministry of Finance team, then headed by the now Chief Minister, Honorable Jacob Jude Safa, been put a quick team together and call a quick economic response program. Yeah. Under that thing, they've been get 3 pillars. One of them pillar then have been for ensure say we're not short in basic commodity then rest, oil, petrol. We'll continue to get the so other countries they run short. Prices and quadruple increase 4 times. Salon continue to forget that one day. Even during that same time, they get a small lockdown. Would they make sure so when they transfer direct cash to people living with disabilities across this country? You reported it as a medium here, yeah. We also make sure say the Munafa Fund during that time or NAXA do direct cash transfers to market women, small businesses, and this and that. During the same period, remember, government pays salaries for people then at the service sector, then tourism-related jobs and then hotel them because for let them not lay them off. This is a government that honestly, truly, and sincerely cares. Yeah, so not to say what no more not do nothing. I mean, during the same period, during the same period, yeah, the free quality education has continued to go on. We don't continue for subsidized school buses. Now, during the same period there, when the doctors had issues, we increased salaries, and for the first time in 3 years, from where Salon began, yeah, for the last 3 years, they have been on medical insurance. So all lengths in there is being done by government. Have we solved all the problems? No, there are still problems. But you could see, they say that marriage will go for sweet, you see from bachelor's.
Yeah.
When I don't see all the steps that our government take. These are extremely difficult circumstances for the whole world. We are committed to doing more and more and more.
Okay, I'll come back to Mr. Minister. Let me come over to the Minister of Trade. I know your ministry is affected greatly with what happened today, and despite few people wanted to go out to do their normal business, but there are fear with regards of maybe young people who intend to go and break their shop and steal property. And what the minister have been doing with regards to that, in order to ensure engaging those traders, and it's going to be massive loss for them as well.
We've been engaging with the traders union groups. We've been engaging with petty traders. AYV, SLBC carried the news of engagements we have with different trading partners, and even the factories. We were talking with them. But nonetheless, on this day, we're still expecting that some of the news that was filtering out there were misleading. We took our time. First thing this morning, got myself together with a team of ministers, particularly those who are involved with the private sector. We went around to give assurances, and we went to so many places. In fact, we met some people just standing by their shops, waiting to have some kind of confidence, and we did just that. We were able to encourage them. The shops were open. Nothing happened virtually. It was just a scare tactics to get businesses crippled. But the one thing which those who are behind it should have understood is that there are people who trade on a daily basis. Some do not even have a capital. Some just go out there on a daily basis, get some market somewhere to sell, and from that they make profit and are able to feed their families. Some of those people were not able to do that today successfully. So when you take a look at all of what you're doing, you come to realize that you're actually putting the the survival of some of those families in jeopardy. You are constraining them, you're causing more hardship on them. And I'm very sure the very people who are going through all of these challenges are ready to say no to these kind of things. In fact, when you go around, a number of traders would tell you that this was uncalled for. We had told our people, let's come out and sell. Even the petty traders. I mean, so our going out today, we went as far as Waterloo. We came back to town. We were through the main streets. We talked with people. A lot of shops have opened, although it's going to hinder some of the businesses, some of the tax collection, the revenue collection. But I'm very, very sure people now understand that, I mean, for the first time, after all the news that has been going on around the demonstration, this was a fake demonstration. It was not led by any group, and their intention was just to disrupt a very, very good day that people were supposed to go out there and make their living. But with all of our intervention, you will see that they actually failed in it, and people are out there, people are doing their businesses.
Yeah, because I want to ask a question around that. You spoke about engaging the people for them to understand about what is happening across the country. And like you said, initially this morning, and I woke up at around 5, and there were a few people around, but around 10 and 11, we started seeing people do their normal business. So it shows that their education about them understanding what is happening. But how can we be able to continue to engage them for them to understand that? For instance, I get me water, and if I buy 2 water, I go get 2,000 or 3,000 in profit. For them to know that you get things profit, you make money when you sell things every day. For them to understand that that's its work.
The people had no idea how the so-called demonstration was going to turn out. Some that have big shops were even afraid that people would storm their shops and take their wares. So there was this hesitation, there was this reluctance to open their shops. But we went there, we were there together. They did not see any demonstration. They did not see any disruption of public order. They saw what the police demonstrated. We want to thank those businesses that had trust in what government told them, and their mere response to go to their shops to open is a clear demonstration that they themselves are really just tired with this whole thing. I mean, you cannot mix politics and business. The business person wants to do the business to make profit. They want to do it so that they can grow. They want to do it so that they can pay the workers that work with them. In fact, when you go, those with big shops will tell you that we were not able to open because our workers could not come on time. But once people started coming, the vehicles were flowing, and you saw everybody saying, well, let's just continue with our normal business there. So I think I truly want to thank those who had trust in what government had told them, that there wasn't going to be any demonstration, that the security forces were going to provide full cover of security to protect lives and property. And we ourselves as government ministers were out on the street giving that confidence, reinforcing that confidence in the people that look at us, we're here, we're working with you, we're working to maintain an environment that is very conducive for business. And I'm sure, I think we sent a very good message out there.
Okay, so which I will ask the Minister of Information. The concerns mostly by some Sierra-Leoneans are saying that they actually don't know what is happening. They actually want the president to talk to them. What you guys did yesterday to today, going out, telling the people that there's no demonstration. You should go and do your normal business. And they are there. And we saw exactly what happened. That
must come from the president.
well, not necessary, but
okay. So I hear you. I mean, on SLBC, every place I have been, I mean, there seems to be this loud and clear call for His Excellency to speak to the nation. That is why we are delegates of His Excellency. We have been speaking to the nation almost on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You host us on platforms, we're on social media, we engage at town hall and various other meetings. But if this call has refused to go away, the call that addresses the nation, I am your humble servant. I will convey that message to him so that he considers that. Right? But while at that, let us also not forget that this is a Sierra Leonean call. The call to keep this country peaceful, to keep it safe and stable, is a Sierra Leonean call. I mean, let me say this. If we all treat it like passengers on the same vehicle or passengers on board the same flight, the only thing you all pray for is safe arrival. Safe flight, safe arrival. We have a shared destiny as Sierra Leoneans. This is our common cause to keep this country safe, to keep it stable, to keep it peaceful and secure. That is the only way government's ambitious economic agenda to develop this country is going to be achieved. So I want to use this opportunity to call on the media to put Sierra Leone first as we navigate our work. To call on other opinion leaders, be you an imam, a reverend father, a celebrity. All of our works won't thrive if there is no peace and security. We who are grown up enough clearly understand what we went through during those 11 years of war. We have to keep this country stable. We have to keep this country whole. We have to keep it peaceful. Because the implications, the economy doesn't matter if there is no peace and security. Because everybody will be running for life and limb. Let us not get to that point. As citizens, we are not the worst off. In fact, we are far better than many countries, including the region. You have seen the steps he has taken. When we spoke to Sierra Leoneans, we did say, anytime there are movements in the global commodity prices, we will ensure that it trickles down, the benefit trickles down to our citizens. He has done that commendably over the period. We had fuel at 22,000 when plate prices were high. Then, he will talk us through that.
Sure, because I actually want to ask him about that as well with regards to, we saw exactly what happened during the fuel, and despite more people are calling for it to reduce a bit with regards to that. And one of our reporter did a story this morning, and he asked drivers, and they were saying that the fuel should come down a bit and to ensure that they're able to make some more profit with regards to that. There are huge steps being taken with regards to that. It was 22 and now it's 19,000 euros.
It clearly demonstrates how honest this government is to people. We have two things here, availability and then the pricing. We also, when there was shortage at the station, at the pumps, we also how that badly affected businesses, how it affected our movement. And this government's commitment is actually to ensure that each time we find ourselves in a given situation, we do the reviews and then make sure we act in the very best interest of the consumer. Like everybody was thinking, the fuel price was actually supposed to have gone first to 25, but government came in. We looked at revenues we can lose at a very difficult moment like that in the best interest of Sierra Leoneans. And we decided that the maximum we can keep is 22. And then we saw the price started going down. We saw how we moved from 22 to 20 and then to 19. Very soon we're doing the review, maybe this week. At the end of this week, whatever comes out is going to be announced. We went to Guinea. For the longest time, it has been 12,000 Guinean francs. When you exchange that, that's well over 19,000 leones now. What we're doing is to ensure that the very best interest of Sierra Leoneans, the ordinary people. In fact, the advocacy on what we do to differentiate what people buy fuel, the ordinary man buys fuel, and what the big people, the rich enterprises buy fuel is actually out of the consideration that we must try to make life a lot more easier for our people. We don't produce fuel at the moment. We don't produce crude oil at the moment. We buy from an international market. And it's the price at the international market that actually dictates what the pump price is. But with all of that, you see that when these things are being driven, we try to take a look at what we do. That's why government went further, that in the midst of all of this crisis, let's put together the Essential Goods and Services Committee. It has never existed. The President, His Excellency, in his wisdom, constituted that committee. And now we're looking at possibilities of going round all of this, because initially the thought was allow the private sector to thrive, allow them to do business, allow them to import. But we're now seeing the need for government to be intervening in some of these things. And with what government is constructing at the moment, we're very, very sure we should be able to find ourselves going forward in the future. When some of these shocks happen at global level, the impact it will have on our local economy should be minimized. And some of the steps, I'm not going to, don't ask me, I'm not going to give you the details because they are still at the inception stage. But I want you to understand that it's in the best interest of the ordinary Sierra Leonean. Government will not sit by and see these things happen and see how it affects our people. We see how it affects the survival, the livelihoods of our people, particularly the mostly poor people, and we just sit by to do nothing. So all of these things that we're doing, the engagements we're having bilaterally, the work which government is doing to provide certain services to farmers, to provide certain seeds, and to even get to the idea of seeing how we can support farmers to grow more, I think is all part of the broader idea. The introduction of industry, the new industries that are coming up. Let me don't hide this from you. It reached a point in Sierra Leone where a particular commodity, the freight alone, bringing in that commodity in Sierra Leone, was more than the actual cost of the commodity, cement.
Yeah.
Today, we're looking at how we're able to manage all of that, bring in more factories that produce cement, bring in more factories that are into steel, bring in more factories that are into food, and the creation of a zone we call the special economic zone is all what government sees in the future, in the near to the medium term future, to see what we can do to produce ourselves, cut down on cost of bringing the goods to Sierra Leone, cut down the freight. And then you'll see through that, you're going to create more jobs. I'm very, very sure as much as the difficulties exist, it's something that we inherited. We got it from what has been happening in the past.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is to see how we break through that dark history, create a new future for our people, create a situation where, when we went to Guinea, I was there over the weekend, one of the groups who are coming that's doing a factory that's even twice as big as what they did in Guinea is employing already 200 Sierra Leoneans. I met them, we had a discussion. Some of them are going through trainings. Most of these factories we're bringing in are not only going to create jobs, they're going to be training our people. They're actually going to support them to create livelihoods for them. So that by the time you even leave the factory, you find something else to do, you can actually go into an enterprise that will be very, very gainful for you. So these are the things that we're doing. And I'm very, very sure as we progress, things are going to get better. And the lives of people, the youths, the women, I mean, it's going to get better. And we'll be able to self-sustain our nation, our economy.
You're also strategic ministry, you know, that helps the country runs, you know, in terms of the business people who help the economy. And you spoke about engagements, and which I've seen that as well, engaging people. I remember the last time we were out together, you know, when the fair, the dealers decided to hold on the fair. You were out there. I'm telling them to open as well, and you know, it sends the proactiveness from your part. But how are you going to ensure that the space are open for more investment, more players coming to invest in the country in terms of doing business in Sierra Leone? You know, in terms of getting the confidence to them.
Policy-wise, there are a lot of new policies we've introduced. We've taken a look at what we do with agro-processing. There had never been a policy on agro-processing. We've introduced that. An industry policy that had existed for the last 40 years was reviewed, and now we have a revised industry policy. We're looking at the special economic zone policy. All of those are policy initiatives that are actually going to create openness in the economy, that are going to allow new people to come in. We are doing those policies together with other policies that will affect the business environment. Financing, for instance, the engagement which we're having with the financial institutions to be able to look at how we create opportunities for businesses to have access to finance. Our small and medium enterprises, what will be their fate as we go into these big competitions that they are going to be looking at. So all of those things are actually being dealt with. When you take a look at the numbers, I can tell you, we've done 14 agreements with factories. I mean, there is 2 for flour, and today if you see that flour is doing so well in Sierra Leone, better than in Guinea, I'm just from Guinea, I know the cost of commodities out there. You see that it's out of this demonstration of this government's ability to bring in more people, more players into the market, to open up the space. If you talk about what is happening with vegetable oil, you can also see our demonstration of that, allowing 2 factories that are actually processing crude palm oil into vegetable oil and exporting stearin, which is used in other factories, exporting fatty acids that's used for soap making, is clear indication. Even as we are entering into the new markets, the ECOWAS trade liberalization scheme, the African Continental Free Trade Area, these are the things that you are doing that is not only going to make you depend on what is produced by other African countries, but also what you'll be able to produce and sell to other African countries. Nigeria, Senegal, Guinea, in fact, in Gambia, we went into an agreement with the government of the Gambia to see how we're able to trade our vegetable oil that we were producing, because it seems the cheapest in the sub-region, and I'm very, very sure all of these things that you're doing. I mean, there is the government will, there's this openness policy, and you can also see that, I mean, the numbers cannot just increase like that.
Yeah.
It's actually out of the actions that we've been taking. Today, you can easily go and register a company. It won't take you a long time. There's certain indicators, what we refer to as doing business indicators, that we are really improving on. We sent a study tour to Rwanda and Kenya to look at what we need to do with doing business, and I'm sure all of those reforms that we're looking at is actually going to add up to what is going to result to an open economy, an economy that gives opportunities to Sierra Leoneans to also do business, to also partner with other businesses that come into this country. And our local content policy is also playing a key role. Our focus is looking at what we refer to as those things which Sierra Leone can do better. Agro-processing, mineral beneficiation. We don't want to see our iron ore just being exported raw as they are being and as they are currently doing. The 2 factories that are looking at recycling of scrap metals are also looking in the medium term to establish the extraction of sponge iron from the iron ore. So all of these things put together, I'm very, very sure my brother and the other company that's also coming to look at the aluminium panel is looking at extracting aluminium from bauxite. So for the very first time, we've been exporting everything raw. Today, going into the future, with the establishment of those factories, you're really going to see that some of these things that we've been producing and just exporting raw, value is going to be added. Instead of now exporting bauxite, we're now going to be exporting aluminium, which has high cost. It's going to create more jobs for our people. I am very, very sure the future is going to be better.
And you spoke about the processes. I know back then, you know, there were a lot of processes in terms of getting when you want to do a business in Sierra Leone. And you spoke about, you know, reviewing it, look at shorter ways wherein...
Those are the bottlenecks that we've tried to remove in these reforms. I mean, to register a company, previously, it would take you a very, very long time. I mean, if you want to do certain businesses, you have to go to different areas to do the registration. But now there's a one-stop shop. You go there, you register your business. Within 24 hours, you're able to get your business certificate. There are a couple of other things, like, for instance, the collaterals. Initially, you can only bring in an immovable collateral. We've expanded that. We've opened that up. Now you can even bring a movable collateral. You can now use your car, your Honda, your Keke as a collateral to get access to finance. So all of these things. Of course, the Munafa fund that we've operated. Initially, we've seen how microfinance institutions offer loan to our small businesses at very, very high interest rates, sometimes 40%. Today with the Munafa fund, the rate has come down as low as 9%. You have now banks who are interested rolling out the Munafa fund alongside the programs that they are, alongside the products that they are offering. EcoBank is already doing it. You've got a number of other banks that want to go with that. So with all of these and the dedication of government to be putting a certain amount of money every year into the Munafa fund, even without a development partner coming in, although we are looking at what development partners can do with the Munafa fund, but even without that, I mean, the yearly contribution of government into the revolving fund is actually going to make a very, very big difference for our small businesses.
Okay, I'll come back to the Minister of Education. So let me bring in Minister of Information. You know, there are priority areas which the government, you know, sets, you know, to look into, education, tourism, agriculture, all of that. Are they, you know, progress towards that?
Well, made huge progress. Let me start with my sector.
Yeah, the information.
Yeah, so in 2017, we had about 360,000 people on social media. To date, you have about 1.3 million people That is more than several-fold, hundred-fold increase, right? That did not happen by accident. It is as a result of the enabling legislation that we have created. We have reduced the prices of data and voice, across board. So that is very good. That is one of the reasons why you see more people online now, more people communicating. We have expanded through NATCOM the digital footprints to many communities, right? Many communities that did not have connectivity are now connected, right? And don't forget, His Excellency, through a Chinese loan, a 1% concessionary Chinese loan of about 30 million, has been able to land fiber in 5 additional districts of Koinadugu, of Bond, Pujom, Moyamba, Kailao, right? So all of this will increase and enhance our digital footprints. Talk about tourism. Remember, we had started doing very well on that, but for the route disruption of COVID, we have increased tourist arrivals before COVID struck. That number, according to the Minister of Tourism, is beginning to pick up again. So we really are on the right trajectory. You spoke about education. We are now also promoting, domestic tourism, right? She has even promised taking cabinet colleagues to one of these local places of interest. We can't wait for that. Then you talk about education. I mean, we have continued, the president has continued to be a global leader in education. He has continued to be a global leader in education. Very recently at a conference in Paris, where you had over 140 participants around the world, His Excellency was chosen from among all the world leaders to co-chair that meet with the UNESCO Director General. That is no mean feat. At this year's United Nations General Assembly, he will also be co-chairing a session on global education with the United Nations Secretary General. So this is the esteem in which the world holds our leadership, our president. I mean, it's no gainsaying that the thing he has done for education in 4 years, no president, dead or alive, has ever done for this country. This is something the world respects us for. This is something the world appreciates. And with a Minister of Education, the 2 ministers of education, you could not have had a better deal with Dr. Senge and Dr. Afawuri. So a lot of progress has been registered in that area. Even though for the most part, my attention has just been drawn to the fact that we focus quite a lot, disproportionate attention to the basic and senior secondary education. But a lot more things are happening in the technical and higher education. For example, TVET, Technical Vocational Education and Training, is now being mainstreamed. It's attracted a lot of funding. For the very first time in a few years, they have now been mainstreamed. They are being funded. More people are now taking those public exams, right, than ever before. University status has been granted to Eastern Polytechnic, right? A university is under construction in Kono. Promises made by other people that were never fulfilled. This president is a true man of his words. So yes. Let's Sierra Leoneans sit tight and accompany him on this journey without disruptions. You will see a lot more progress here in coming days, coming years. Yeah.
I know you love to speak on the issues surrounding the recent appointments of few members, who join in the government with the IG and also the appointment of Alpha Khan and all of that as well.
Well, so I mean, it's only natural that you guys watch football and other matches. From time to time, the coaches, the team managers, they reshuffle they shuffle around their players and what have you. So it's always the president's prerogative to hire and fire. He knows the team very well. So when he chooses somebody like Alhaji Alpha Khan, whom I've known close to 2 decades, he had actually worked at the airport in civil aviation. He was a private person. I worked for the Airports Authority. I know him for a very consummate debater. We have debated extensively before. He has, he was my immediate predecessor as Minister of Information and Communications. He actually handed over to me. He's quite a bundle of knowledge and experience. the president chose him for very deliberate reasons. Even as NACOVA, one of the NACOVA ambassadors, he was already doing very well, you know, advising on social mobilization. You found out that together with his colleagues, they did a fantastic job of it. That is why they say the reward for good work is more work, right? So yes, the new IIG, I know, has worked in various departments in different capacities across the country. So he comes highly recommended. Among his colleagues, they see him as a disciplinarian, a very focused person. Yes, so, I mean, I'm sure they have all sworn to ensure that they justify the trust and confidence reposed in them by His Excellency. Yeah, so I look forward to working with them in coming days and weeks and months.
Yeah. Okay. So we're trying to round up now, Mr. Minister, and what is the plan now from the minister? I know there are a lot of things going to happen, like you said, you know, policies, reviewing, and ensure that the market is open for players to come in, to invest and do business with Sierra Leone.
Policy must translate into programs so that the people, the target beneficiaries, will have what the policies are intended for. And so you will see that we're wasting no time. The engagements we're having with other countries, you see the president goes on trips to have investment conferences. It's all part of what we're trying to do, and a good number of investors are willing to come to put money in Sierra Leone. The other day we were in Qatar. A number of interests came up in both agriculture as well as in the mining sector. And all of these, as I speak to you, we're now very, very choosy. We want to have a package that does not only look at mining, but also looks at value addition, mineral beneficiation alongside mining. We've seen that it's only with that kind of package that you're going to have more benefit coming to Sierra Leoneans. It's going to help to improve the livelihoods of our people, and it's also going to help us construct a very, very strong, resilient economy. So I think we're making progress on that, and we're very, very sure our people to prepare. I mean, you now see even with the type of education that we're trying to have for our children, it's one that is going to make them even more productive. You see that the Minister of Education is very passionate not only to deliver on free education, but to also deliver on quality education. The opportunities they are given to our youths to go learn vocations is also part of our overall plan, because there is no way you're going to have the economy grow without the people. The economy has to grow alongside the people. So if you're going to come up with all these new programs, all these new policies, our people must be prepared to be able to provide the required services that those programs would need. So those are the things that we're doing. And we're not doing it in isolation. The Ministry of Information, the Ministry of Works, everybody's together. We're looking at how certain infrastructure could be completed. You take a look at the new terminal that's going on at the airport. You also see the construction of a new jetty at the ports, what NSBT is doing. And you're seeing a number of other developments. New companies wanting to come to establish their own jetties for the delivery of raw materials. So I think the progress that we're making is good. What we would encourage our people, I mean, you have to come first from where we are. We know it's difficult, but you have a bright future. So we all need to work together. We all need to ensure that there is a stable government, there is a stable country, there is safety in our societies, or our young people are able to conduct themselves in ways that will really give an opportunity to them to be able to access some of these new opportunities that will be coming up. I think it's just about us being focused, and you can see that from these difficulties, we're gradually moving to a very bright future.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Minister of Trade and Industry. Mr. Minister, your parting shot.
Yes, I want to talk to my family and directly for Creole. What's our day now in this country? The biggest thing we will require for able to support the president in development agenda na peace and stability. This way happen today, people then probably we no mean no good for this country. We definitely no mean no good for this person. Now then call for this action today. And unfortunately, people that will get sense past the one that will call for the stay home, they obey them. We're really, really sad. So my family, where you can borrow market, for example, what you get from that barra day, 9 years you begin to eat. No go listen to misdirected person. They say no come out to man, no go sell to man. I know about barra because my late mom in barra I been they do 9 will be the leave off. So I know that one day. I also know say then keke or transporter there, which are then really come out today. Them in the streets all over the place. Now people then scare up, then make people then afraid. But people then not go town. People then not able to pull their market there. Me they say to una government they assure una full security. Una see today, no rudeness nobody not do because the police there they been very ready, they been very prepared for deal with any acts of lawlessness. But I want for use this opportunity for appeal to all Salone people there. Let us go about with normal business there from now on. We'll get law and order now. We'll get security. Let us go continue for fend for families there. Government say want this thing for happen. Just like when get demands on government for build more schools, for make the schools then better, for build more hospitals, for provide water, for provide electricity. Government and then tax revenue then. The economy get for run. For let government able get much needed resources there. For let able run the economy and provide them social services there. So let not listen to anybody who will not get a stake because anybody really will get a stake in this country. Who want this country in better one. And not go tell people then for no good reason. Let them not go let them not can work, let them not can do business. Because they know say, you know, not the only way that government is able unleash development in this country. So family, I want for left one or that part in world. Let all go about with normal business. Anybody who disrupt her, now a law and order issue that one day, it will be dealt with as lawlessness. Yes, please.
So me makituman them, me trader them, we this thing don't hamburg today. Me they talk to now Minister of Trade and Industry this. I go out there today for make her up skin with tuna. At a difficult moment like this today, where somebody we want pass bad news so that we not go able to do what we've been supposed to do. I mean, more proven to them say, now lie people them will not go listen to them. So I want to tell you thank you. We una self realize and the support una don't give for make una show say una not go listen. Then they don't pass with somebody who just can't pass word. We listen them and try for go by waiting and say, this get for do with we self. The thing where they happen globally, government they try for say how we will size and down. Very, very soon, even the petrol business, when I go begin see some improvement. I want make una get that assurance. We go na other country them, na the same thing themselves they go through. But they tell una, the way they see things they happen, I want very, very, very well assured una say, we'll get over them difficulties there. More just go about for doing normal business. Time day we will get for it. We'll tell God thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister of Trade and the Minister of Information and Communication. Well, we will close this segment and we'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll continue the show. The show is this day on NYV Television, on Channel 33, and on the radio on 101.7 FM. Good afternoon and welcome to this day coming live on YV TV on Channel 33. Good afternoon and welcome to this day coming live on YV TV on Channel 33. Good afternoon and welcome to this day